Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode in our TNA series in TW 2020. I, of course, am Sierra Daredevil, and we are just days away, or days off, that is, of Turning Point 2014, which, while I thought was a pretty good pay-per-view, the game did not. The game did not find it as good, and ended up being, not that good rated of a show. And actually, for some reason, our backstage uh, morale or backstage rating actually went down slightly because of the disappointment of the pay-per-view for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe just because of we're coming off that big high of Bound for Glory. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, we are through Turning Point now, and we are on the road to Final Resolution happening in 4 weeks' time in game, where we will, have to see what ends up happening. Have to see what ends up happening indeed. We start things off in front of 6,636 people at the George M. Holmes Center in North Carolina with Magnus out in the ring. Magnus comes down and he says that he was unfairly defeated at Turning Point. Says that Samoa Joe should not still be the TNA World Champion, and that he will do whatever he needs to do to earn himself another title matchup and get his TNA World Championship back. And out comes AJ Styles. And AJ Styles says, "Man, you just love to rant on and on and on, don't you?" Says that you sat there and were defeated by Samoa Joe at Turning Point. And boy, oh boy, you have every excuse in the book. Like, didn't you tap out to lose that matchup? Even with all the advantages you try to have on your side, didn't you still lose? You had all the goddamn opportunities in the world, and yet you still failed. And this was after you were granted a title opportunity only because you won a match where Maria Kanellis was trying to get rid of you, was trying to get rid of your group. Like, how much of a whiny little bitch do you have to be? And a crowd goes, "Oh." Magnus is like, "How dare you call me that?" And Styles is like, "Do you know who you're talking to? I am Mr. TNA. I am the man who pulled this company on his back and made it what it is today. You sit here and you run around just because you've been the champion recently and pretend like you're something big, like you're supposed to be some big star around here. When truth be told, you're there because Dixie put you there. You're not there based off your skill or your your in-ring talent or your ability to talk on the mic. You are simply there because Dixie Carter pushed you. Dixie Carter got behind you and made sure that you were given opportunities that you didn't deserve. After all, what happens when you and I stepped into the ring, huh? You and I stepped in the ring with that TNA World Title on the line. What happened? What happened, huh?" Magnus is like, "You want to sit here and say these things against me? Styles, I will have no problem whooping your ass and proving that I deserve the TNA World Title. But I suppose I don't have to worry about going through you, do I? Because last I checked, you lost at Turning Point to Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle's the one with the title match, not you. So maybe I should go talk to Daredevil backstage and get a match with Kurt Angle, so that way I can fight him for that title shot, so that I can get my title opportunity again and not waste my time with you." He said, and then he kind of pauses for a second. He's like, he gets a smirk on his face. He's like, "But you know what? You seem to want to fight so badly tonight. You want to fight? You want a match here tonight so badly? I'll tell you what. Since it's not a title opportunity for Team Dixie, Dixie Carter would still have power to make matches around here, as long as it's not a championship match involving Team Dixie. So I tell you what, how about tonight? Because I can tell you right now, I can make this match because I know Dixie Carter will have no problem backing up what I'm saying right now. How about tonight in the main event, you go one-on-one with Abyss?" So there you go. that is our main event for this evening. AJ Styles going one-on-one with Abyss. Well, that should be a very, very interesting matchup for sure. We also have a couple of other big matches on tonight's show. As up next, we have an X Division Championship match, as Roderick Strong will be going and defending the title against Homicide of the Strong Style Thugs. Former X Division champion Homicide, that is, as well. And also tonight, we have a very interesting tag team matchup happening. Actually, we have a couple of very interesting tag team matches happening, as it is announced that Gail Kim will be picking a partner of her choosing to take on Serena Deeb and a partner of her choosing here tonight. And on top of that, it will be D'Angelo De Niro and Shelton Benjamin teaming up to take on Austin Aries and a partner of his choosing. So a lot of interesting matches happening here tonight on Impact. After this, we get our X Division Championship matchup, which gets a 70 rating. Holy hell. As in a decent matchup, Roderick Strong defeats Homicide in 11:09 by submission with a stronghold, making defense number 6 of the X Division Championship. 70 rating for the match. 65 from Roderick Strong, 56 from Homicide. Very good stuff there indeed. Interesting little bit there, as you see the storyline a bit here, because Jay Lethal came out partway through the matchup and went and sat at the commentary table. Of course, Jay Lethal representing the House of Truth, and had a lot to say about Roderick Strong, about how Strong doesn't deserve to have that X Division Championship, and about how Jay Lethal was a far better representative of the X Division than Roderick Strong is. So it's almost as if Jay Lethal's kind of talking about possibly wanting a shot at the X Division title. We'll have to see what happens there, but 70 rating for this matchup. Very good way to start off the in-ring portion of Impact. Then after that, I forgot to take Angelina Lowe off being a manager, but that's all right. We have a in-ring promo from our TNA Knockouts champion, still the Knockouts champion, if you will, Velvet Sky, who defeated ODB at Turning Point thanks to what happened at Turning Point. Velvet comes into the ring and she says that she is still the Knockouts champion. People weren't there was a lot of people out there who weren't expecting her to do so, and yet here she stands, still your Knockouts champion. In fact, there's a lot of people out there who have been underestimating Velvet Sky, not just as a Knockouts champion, but as the best knockout in this company in 2014. But let's look at the facts. Let's look at the facts, if you will. The fact is that I, Velvet Sky, tore my way through the Knockouts Bound for Glory series. Tore my way through it. I defeated everyone in it. Then I went on to Bound for Glory and won the Knockouts Championship from the longtime reigning champion who just couldn't quite get the job done against me. I have been on one hell of a winning streak lately, been on one hell of a run lately, and yet there's still people out there who want to pretend like I'm not the greatest knockout in this company. And then, that is when we hear the music of Mickie James. Mickie James comes out she gets down to the ring. She gets in there over and she's kind of looking at Velvet, smirk on her face. She says, "You know what? Props where props are due. You did win the Knockouts Bound for Glory series. You did win the title at Bound for Glory. You did retain this past Sunday at Turning Point. Granted, you retained because of outside interference, but you know what? You still retained it. You still retained it. But let's go back a little bit. Let's forget about Turning Point for the moment. Let's go back to Bound for Glory, because you won the Knockouts Championship at Bound for Glory. You defeated Madison Rayne for that championship. You know what else happened at Bound for Glory? Myself and Magnus won a mixed tag team matchup that got us a shot at the championships we wanted to fight for between then and the end of the year. And, well, it's the week of Thanksgiving. Technically the day of, but, we're ignoring that part. So we're pretending this got taped a couple days in advance or something. And, well, there's not much time left in the year. So maybe, just maybe, I'm going to have to cash in that opportunity. Maybe at Final Resolution. If that's what I'll do at. They kind of get eye to eye with each other. Kind of a little bit of a stare down when they get interrupted by the music of Maria Kanellis, who comes out and she says, ladies, just don't go at each other right now. Mickey, you're right. You do have a guaranteed shot at the TNA Knockouts Championship between now and the end of the year. One that Velvet cannot disregard unless she is no longer the champion. It's guaranteed to happen. But here's my problem. You see, I don't want to have it. I don't want that match to happen at Final Resolution. No offense to the two of you. It would be a fantastic match to have in Final Resolution. But I have a bigger plan in mind. You see, I've been working with the TNA board of directors. I've been working with Daredevil. And crazy enough, I've even been in discussions with Dixie Carter about this. And Mickey James actually has a little bit of a surprised look on her face here. The fact that Maria and Dixie were actually talking at all about something. And Maria says, you see, the Knockouts division here in TNA is easily one of the best divisions, easily one of the best women's divisions in the world of professional wrestling. Name a better division. I dare you. Name a better division. You know, the crowd's cheering. Yeah, you know, the good stuff. Like, you know, a lot of great wrestlers here, blah, blah, blah. And Maria says, but how fair is it that we don't give the chance for the Knockouts to have the spotlight for one night, or for a night? We don't have the chance for the Knockouts to have all the attention on them. Now, this isn't a man versus woman, term. It's not a man versus woman issue happening right now. It's just why do the Knockouts not get more of an opportunity to have the spotlight on them on any given night? So, as the authority figure of the Knockouts division here in TNA, as the co-authority figure of TNA itself, you two will not be facing each other at Final Resolution for that Knockouts Championship. And Mickey looks upset and starts to say something, and Maria's like, hold on. Because the two of you will be main eventing the new TNA pay-per-view the night before Final Resolution. There will be a Knockouts only pay-per-view. And the crowd goes crazy about it. They're losing their mind about it. I need to look really quick because I want to make sure. Okay, that's what I thought. So then we get a graphic on the screen, or on screen, whatever, that says TNA No Turning Back. And it shows Mickey James versus Velvet Sky for the TNA Knockouts Championship. And Maria says that I hope you all are ready, because that is going to be one hell of a show. And there truly will be no turning back from the Knockouts division getting their chance to shine. So there you go. Huge announcement. As the day before TNA Final Resolution, there will be a pay-per-view known as TNA No Turning Back. And it will be a Knockouts only show headlined by Mickey James versus Velvet Sky for the TNA Knockouts Championship. Now, you may be watching this and being like, Daredevil, you did this in your previous TNA save, and you said you were gonna try to change a lot of what you did in that last one. And you're right. But I always plan to do the Knockouts only pay-per-view because I have always liked the idea of it. So here we go. So we have a Knockouts title matchup to main event our first Knockouts pay-per-view. And it'll be interesting to see. Now, granted, I think at this point in time in November 2014, I think there probably was at least one or two one night only shows that had been like knockouts only kind of things. But we're acting as if like in this era, in the Daredevil and Kanellis era, that this is the first time kind of thing. So there you go. Recording wise, that will be taking place that weekend. You'll get two separate TNA episodes. One will be No Turning Back, which will be the Knockouts only show, and then one will be Final Resolution, which will be a men's only show. There won't be any knockouts on the Final Resolution show. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up playing out. But there you go. So 57 rating for the segment here, which is really good, honestly. With Maria Kanellis, Mickie James, and Velvet Sky getting a 57 for the segment, it's pretty good. We built up the three of them pretty decently at this point. But there you go. So big announcement there, as we have a new show that'll be taking place the day before Final Resolution, known as No Turning Back. Yes, we get that, Velvet. That's my bad. Then after that, tag team action sees the Motor City Machine Guns defeat the Von Erichs in 8:28 when Alex Shelley submits Ross Von Erich with a Border City stretch. Only got a 55 rating. Little surprised by that, honestly. 58 from Chris Sabin, 56 from Alex Shelley, 31 from Ross Von Erich, and 30 from Marshall Von Erich. Maybe because it was no storyline associated. Well, it was also our own storytelling match, so that actually makes sense too. The story being that the Guns are basically just kind of showing off the whole match. Just doing a bunch of moves that are, purposely showing off. But they also start doing a few moves that seem like they're calling out Kendrick and London specifically. For example, Alex Shelley makes sure a couple of times that he does the sliced bread. Now, obviously, Alex Shelley normally does the a variation of the sliced bread as well, but knowing that Kendrick also does it, he kind of purposely calling him out about it. Chris Sabin hits a 450 at one point, which is pretty well-known move of Paul London's. So that's kind of the idea, is that they're purposely kind of, and they even kind of do like a little bit of the taunts of them and everything. So they're purposely kind of acting, kind of mocking them a little bit. But they defeat the Von Erichs fairly easily here. After the match, what they didn't realize is that Paul London and Brian Kendrick actually came out towards the end of the matchup and were on stage watching them. So the Machine Guns start celebrating until they notice London and Kendrick, who are on the stage watching them, who kind of just waved to him in kind of a smiley, hey guys, how's it going? Kind of way. So almost as a kind of making it clear that they were watching the Machine Guns, who clearly are not, don't look too happy about the fact that London and Kendrick are standing there with big goofy smiles on their faces, if you will. 52 rating here for the segment, as we will have to see when this tag match ends up happening, if it ever does. Then after that, we get a quick promo from our tag team champions, which gets 51, which is pretty good, honestly. I was expecting this to be like mid to upper 40s, so I'll take it. As we just hear, they're just celebrating. Honestly, they're celebrating. EC3 brags about the fact that they beat Cabana and Jacobs once again, and that they are going to go on one hell of a tour. They're going to feed every tag team here in TNA. Nobody's going to be able to stop them. And, they pop some champagne and start drinking it. So they're celebrating backstage. Gets a 51 rating here. I just wanted to see what kind of rating they would get for a promo just about them. So not too bad. I mean, it could be better, obviously, but not too bad there. Then a 55 rated matchup, we see that Serena Deeb and Santana fall to the team of Gail Kim and Kana. Kana, who's been, who's worked a couple matches on Explosion so far. I believe this is her Impact debut. Actually debuting on the show Impact, that is. Gail Kim, kind of went off the idea of, hey, I've been watching her destroy people on Explosion, and so I'm going to team up with her. And so Gail Kim and Kana get the victory here at 9:45 when Kana got Santana Garrett to submit to the Billiken. 55 rating for the match. Santana Garrett was weekly. She had a 35, 47 from Deeb, 53 from Kana, and 52 from Gail Kim. Kana actually outperformed Gail Kim. There you go. Gain team for the storyline. As you see there, Kana defeated Santana Garrett, meaning that Deeb and Kim weren't involved in the final, final result of the match, which makes sense because the two of them were actually like fighting with each other on the outside when all this when the finish happened. So there you go, 55 rating as things continue on with Gail Kim and Serena Deeb. Then after that, not only did this get a 56, but James Storm also struggled when going off script. Interesting. But Beer Money are backstage with Christy Hemme. And they're just kind of, they're not happy. They're not happy. Because, of course, last time we saw, they were getting into a bar brawl with the Wolves, who decided to jump them. Not jump them, but who decided to attack them. And so they're, James Storm drinking from a beer bottle, but he's not too happy right now. And Rude's clearly kind of pacing a little bit, showing some frustration. Storm says, "You guys want to come into my place, into my home, and attack us? You want to come into a place that I live, breathe, and die in, a bar, and you want to attack us? You want to come after us like that? We will have no problem hunting you down and taking you out." Bobby Roode goes, "The Wolves. The Wolves. We're supposed to be afraid of the Wolves? We're supposed to be afraid of the Wolves who haven't won a significant matchup around here in years at this point? We're supposed to be afraid of the Wolves? We're going to take you out. Actually, you know what? We're not going to take you out. We're going to tame you. We're going to make you little puppies, and we're going to send you off to adoption somewhere. We're going to send you out of here, out of TNA, while we continue to run things here in TNA." So 56 rating is they're definitely kind of passionate about about their anger right now towards the Wolves. We'll have to see what happens with that. Then we get an interesting little segment backstage. Gets 38 rating. As Candice LeRae and Evie are backstage talking when the Sexy Purple Thunder Sisters, or the Shirais, if you will, come into view. And they're kind of talking with Candice and Evie. They're kind of talking about the big announcement about No Turning Back being announced. And about how, there's obviously going to be a lot more space on that show. So people, some of the women that don't usually get matches as much are going to get a chance to actually, show up on there and wrestle. And so Candice and Evie are kind of like, maybe we have to find a tag team to go up against on that show. And Io and Mio are like, I mean, we're a tag team. You can come work with us. That's when the lights flicker a little bit, and camera pans over and sees Rosemary and Katarina standing there kind of laughing, as Rosemary is just kind of like, you all think you're so cute. You know nothing about the spotlight. You know nothing about getting any sort of attention. But we can make you famous if you really want that. But you won't like the kind of famous we will make you. She starts chuckling. This is when Leva Bates and Miriam show up, kind of a little bit of a stare down with the Decay. And Miriam says, yeah, because, nobody would like the kind of attention that they would get having to deal with the Decay, right? Like, nobody would mind the fact that they would get a victory, since you guys haven't beaten anybody in a while, it seems like. So they're kind of like a little peaceful, there's not an actual like fisticuffs break out here, but there's kind of an argument between all four little groups, tag teams, if you will, here. That gets 38 rating. This is more just kind of, getting them featured on Impact, and kind of hyping up, kind of like a minor hype up of No Turning Back, because it was kind of just a way of like, maybe there's going to be some sort of matchup happening, some sort of tag match happening in No Way Out, at No Turning Back, that is, featuring a couple of these teams or something like that. We'll have to see. Then after that, we have a match where Rhino defeats Jimmy Jacobs in 9:28 by pinfall to Gore. Not really any story behind this matchup, just, Rhino of House of Truth wanting to get some more momentum. Jimmy Jacobs, former tag team champions with Colt Cabana. Surprisingly, though, Colt Cabana not here at ringside with Jimmy Jacobs. But Jacobs just trying to, show he can get it done against a member of House of Truth, but he unfortunately cannot, as Rhino defeats him in 9:28 by pinfall to Gore. 61 rated for the match. Pretty good stuff there. 53 from Rhino, 52 from Jacobs. As nice little matchup here. Sees Rhino get the victory. Then after that, weirdly enough, we kind of find out why Colt Cabana wasn't there at ringside, because he was already standing backstage with Tracy Hemme. And Colt Cabana is asked about what happens next for Colt Cabana. And he's, just kind of stands there a little, not a little unlike himself. He's not quite as happy and everything. He's saying, you know what? Me and Jimmy, we tried to regain the titles and we couldn't. I mean, we could make up excuses, crooked ref, all that other stuff, but we couldn't get the job done. So maybe we need to figure out some other stuff. I mean, we're kind of thrown together. We were thrown together tag team originally. We started working together simply because we, could get along and we had some decent chemistry in the ring. But maybe it's time we try to find ourselves on a solo level. Maybe it's time that that Colt Cabana tries to figure out on a singles capacity where he's at here in TNA. And Cabana walks off, so we might, not necessarily a full breakup of Jimmy Jacobs and Colt Cabana, but it seems like they're going to be focusing a little bit more on their single stuff than as a tag team heading forward. We'll have to see how that plays out. Then after that tag team match, she gets a 77 rated matchup. Holy crap. As D'Angelo De Niro and Shelton Benjamin defeat Jeff Hardy and Austin Aries at 14:25. With De Niro pin Jeff Hardy with a fast roll-up. 77 rated for the match, 76 from Benjamin, 66 from De Niro, 70 from Austin Aries, and 66 from Jeff Hardy. Gate heat for the storyline with De Niro and Austin Aries. Jeff Hardy was really off his game. Not sure why, but whatever. De Niro and Benjamin actually show excellent chemistry team together, so that's a good thing to know. Because spoiler alert, I'm going to be starting to slowly phase MVP out of an actual, consistent wrestling schedule. He'll be more of like a, occasionally wrestling kind of thing. And so it'd be good, it's good to know that De Niro and Benjamin have chemistry with each other as a tag team. So they can work together as a tag team heading forward. But 77 rating for this matchup is really good there. As De Niro gets a roll up on Jeff Hardy. Obviously a way to keep Aries and Hardy looking strong, but unfortunately they did not get the victory as they got rolled up. So we'll have to see where things go from here with Aries and De Niro. Then after that, we see Maria Kanellis and Sierra Daredevil talking backstage when the former Knockouts champion, Madison Rayne, kind of kicks down the door almost. Not kicks it down, but she kind of hits the door hard and it flies open. And Daredevil and Kanellis, see her walk in, and then Daredevil kind of looks over at Maria and I'm like, this one's all you. And I back off. And Madison walks right up to Maria and says, no turning back, huh? Okay. I want a match on that card. I want to take on cheerleader Melissa. She wants to sit here and demand respect? I'll teach her some respect. And Maria just, still kind of taken back, not wanting to say something that's going to piss Madison Rayne off, or just I'm for it. Let's have it. Let's make it happen. So there you go. A second official match announced for No Turning Back, as it will be Madison Rayne taking on cheerleader Melissa. Of course, the issue is with that, in case you missed the Turning Point episode, which if you did, you probably should have gone back and watched that before you got this far into this episode. The issue, of course, being that cheerleader Melissa is the one who attacked ODB to allow Velvet Sky to retain the Knockouts Championship. And on top of that, when confronted after the match by Madison Rayne, she attacked Madison Rayne as well. So there you go. Cheerleader Melissa, Madison Rayne, one-on-one at No Turning Back. That should be a really good matchup there. Then after that, before the main event, we have an 87 rated segment. As if you could be even slightly surprised by the segment rating for this here. Samoa Joe comes down to the ring, and he says, he just raises the championship up in the air, and he says, still your TNA World Champion. Magnus talked a game, but could not back it up. And the Samoan Submission Machine put down another. But I hear that I've got another submission master on the horizon. I hear that I have to take on Kurt Angle next. In fact, I hear that match is going to be happening in a Final Resolution, which is now our first official match announced for Final Resolution. And he says, I am not worried. I'm not afraid. I'm not scared. I'm Samoa Joe. The Samoan submission machine. I put people to sleep as if it's just the same as breathing. You think I'm honestly going to be scared of Kurt Angle? No. No. I'll put him down just like I've done before. Just like I will do with anybody who steps in my way. And this brings out Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle gets into the ring. Just kind of locks eyes with Joe, just stares him down. And says, "You bring your best at Final Resolution. Because I'm not going to listen to you, bitch, when I take your title from you." And that's all he says. He just drops the mic and he leaves. So there you go, 87 rated segment, as we are getting a very intense moment here, building up this matchup at Final Resolution. Then our main event gets a 74 rating. As in a superb matchup, AJ Styles defeats Abyss in 11:43 by pinfall with a Super Styles Clash. So he had to bust out the Uber finish, if you will. For those of you who play TNA, you'll know, or TNA. For those of you who play TEW, you'll get the Uber thing. But 74 rating there, 85 from Styles, 70 from Abyss. They have pretty good chemistry and lifted the match, so that's good. Probably would have been a better rating if there was a storyline advanced here, I'm going to guess. Yep, lack of associated storyline. There is a storyline going on, but it's kind of crossing two different storylines right now, so that was my fault for not having that as part of that. It's fine. I'll take it. I'll deal with it. But still got a 74 rating as Abyss fails to defeat AJ Styles. Although AJ Styles does have to bust out the Super Styles Clash, so there is that. But afterwards, Magnus hits the ring and attacks AJ Styles, and then yells at Abyss to help him out. And Abyss, after a little bit of reluctancy, does start helping him out as well, leaving AJ Styles laid out on the canvas while Magnus and Abyss stand tall to end Impact. Got a 69 rating. Very nice. Show itself gets 78. Let's go. Might be our best one we've ever had now. I just thought about that. Increase our popularity to 23 regions. Let's go. I think that's our best show we've ever done, rating-wise. It definitely helped to have that Joe and Angle segment there. But yeah, so you're kind of seeing where we're going direction-wise right now. Good to see. That was our best show of all time. A 78 rating for that show. So that's really good to see there. Top matches. It was not the best match we've had of all time. That one was the one from a couple weeks ago. But we didn't even have a top 20 match with that show. So that tells you that the segments really helped it out. Because you see, 26th best match of all time was AJ Styles and Abyss. But there you go. Good stuff there. We'll pop back over to, if I can get that to work, hop back over to the ratings for the night. 78 rated show, 1.44 million viewers for the show. NXT had a 48, which saw Alex Riley defeat Troy McClain in the main event. Oof. Yeah, that's an oof. Ring of Honor had a 49. They kind of stumbled this week. Had Scott Steiner defeat Fireand in the main event. Probably should have put the Bucks and the Briscoes in the main event. They would have had a better rating, but whatever. FIP is now running shows on Thursdays as well, it looks like. I saw Bobby Lashley and Dave Bautista defeat Hostaf Hernandez and Mr. Anderson. What? In Full Impact Pro, this is a match that happened in 2014. Bobby Lashley and Dave Bautista defeating Hot Stuff Hernandez, who, by the way, is Hernandez of LAX, and Mr. Anderson. If that's not a weird match right there, I don't know what to tell you. Also, though, it's 3 out of the 4 former TNA contracted workers. But yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. So that's interesting. In fact, that was the second best rated show of the night. Got a 58 rating. So there you go. There's that. Explosion also happened. About Alberto Patron got better from his injury. Dolph Ziggler apparently had a failure for his surgery he had, and he's actually out even longer. Yikes. I'm pretty sure he's like, yeah, he got an injury that put him out for like 14 months. So I think he's basically done at this point, especially since that surgery was a failure. He's basically done at this point. Samoa Joe has a new catchphrase. I missed that in that segment. That's my bad. Samoa Joe has a new catchphrase. So that's cool. I don't know what his catchphrase is, but he's got a new catchphrase. Anyway, so Explosion happened. Not a good show because I'm really focusing on the whole build up people who are considered unimportant level right now, getting them popularity. So we just had a little bit of a promo package for Veda Scott and Hikaru Shida, and then Hikaru Shida defeated Veda Scott. We had a little bit of a promo package for the Decay and the Super Smash Bros, and then the Decay 1-1. Promo for Portia Perez and Taryn Terrell, and then Portia Perez got a victory, and then P.D. Williams and Rocky Romero, and P.D. Williams got the victory. So, not a great show, but I got to build them up. I got to build them up somehow, and right now, unless they fight, because they're all unrecognized, unimportant status, so unless they fight somebody who is at least recognizable, I can't put them on Impact without hurting Impact. So we're gonna do it that way and build them up and kind of go from there. But there you go. That is TNA for this week. Very interesting stuff indeed. As we'll have to see what ends up happening there. I'm chuckling because there's actually one more thing we're going to show in this episode. I know it's already kind of longer than normal, but to nobody's surprise whatsoever, Gunner has been identified as a steroid user. Oh my gosh, that's so shocking. No way, I had no idea. Get that ass suspended. I got a positive impact, and he was happy about it. There you go, good for you, I guess. But anyway, so that's going to do it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you are excited to see what's going to happen with our new show, No Turning Back. That will be happening in a few weeks' time, the day before Final Resolution. So we'll have to see what the build is for both of those shows as we go from there. But thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And in this series, we will see you next week. But on the channel, we will see you tomorrow for an episode of My GM.